There are tons of exciting, notable new manga coming out throughout the month of October of 2023, so let's jump on into it and see what's on the way. Welcome to the fashionably late manga buyer's guide for October of 2023. There's a ton of new stuff coming out throughout this month and stuff that's already come out this month that I'm very excited to go over. Whether you're a fan of horror series or not, we've got a lot of scary books, a lot of not so scary books, but just a lot of really cool manga to go over. So, of course, before we get into it, hello, if this is your first time here, I'd like to welcome you to my channel. I do these manga buyer's guides here every single month, and I focus not on every single new release that comes out, but all of the new debuting titles, so any new volume 1, any new single volume release, and I try to focus on a lot of the last volume releases as well, because the point of these videos is not to talk about everything that's coming out, it is to talk about things that you might miss out on. I'm trying to help the right people find the right new titles so you can see what might be your new favorite manga. There's so much that comes out every month, it's really easy for someone to miss out on something, but I know, I don't cover the latest volume of the popular ongoing shonen or shoujo title because if you're already following it, you likely know that there's a new volume coming out. As well, keep in mind that the dates that I'm giving here are the official release dates given by the publishers and distributors, but some of these are going to get delayed and some will come out earlier than scheduled. And finally, one last thing before we get into the books, if you happen to be on Twitter, you can follow me on there at OmniCollector, and if you pick up any of the books that I mentioned in this video, specifically because I mentioned it here, something that you otherwise wouldn't have picked up, tag me when you get the book, take a picture of it, tag me, tag the publisher. It does go a long way in helping me out and helping out the channel. So anyway, let's get on to it. We have a bunch of new stuff that came out on the 3rd of October, some really cool new releases. First up from Rocket Ship, a publisher I don't think I've mentioned anything from before, is Faded Away. This one's a mystery rom-com series about childhood friends named Sue and Mitsuko. And Mitsuko disappeared, making Sue believe that she was all in his imagination. But then years later, a mysterious new student starts at Sue's high school. Turns out that it's actually Mitsuko come back, who has not changed at all, while Sue has changed quite a bit. Next up, this one's not really a manga, but for Spy Family fans, the official guide Eyes Only. It's a fan book with a lot of stuff about the popular series, but it also includes a ton of illustrations from other creators, trying their hands at the Spy Family characters. Next up, a new series from Shoujo Beat. We've got Tamon's B-Side. This one follows a high schooler who works part-time as a housekeeper, and this is to afford her obsession with the idol named Tamon. By chance, one day her work takes her to Tamon's home, where she discovers that he's completely different in real life as opposed to who he is on stage. I haven't read the first volume yet, but I've heard really good things, so if you want a lighthearted comedy series, maybe you're into K-pop and stuff, this is going to be one for you to check out. Then we've got a final volume from Shoujo Beat, My Love Mix-Up. It's the end of this popular high school rom-com series. That's volume 9. And then we've got a couple of notable releases from Shonen Jump. First up is Chainsaw Man Volume 12, which is of course the first volume of Part 2 of Chainsaw Man, and it's also the first $11.99 Shonen Jump book. This is the first one to get impacted by the price hike that's going to impact pretty much that will impact everything at Viz Media. All of their releases are kind of getting increased by about 20%. This is the first one that we're really seeing that happen to. Then we've also got Hunter x Hunter Volume 37. This is the first new volume in years. I want to say it's been like 3 or 4 years since 36 came out. And this includes the remaining chapters prior to the hiatus. So it's not the material that he produced after the hiatus. It's not the most recent chunk of 10 chapters, but the stuff right before that. The most recent chunk of chapters will come out eventually as volume 38, but usually they wait until the next. So they're going to wait until another 10 chapters that will be in volume 39 come out before this gets published. Another thing to note about this is that it's no longer going to be in Weekly Shonen Jump. The magazine, or the series, has moved outside of that magazine, and it sounds like with that, Shueisha is no longer holding Togashi to produce 10 chapters at a time, which has been a lot of what's held him back in the past and has made his hiatus get longer and longer, is that he didn't feel like he could produce 10 chapters at a time, and it'd take him a while before he felt up to doing that much work due to his chronic health issues. But now, with him moving outside of Weekly Shonen Jump and away from the weekly schedule and all of that, basically what it seems like is going to happen is that he can work on and publish one chapter at a time or two at a time or whatever it is. And that means that we'll probably get stuff more, we'll get that next 10 chapters sooner than if he had to do 10 at a time. We will be seeing pretty soon how that's going to go, because if you follow Togashi over on Twitter, he already has posted that he's been working again on the series. Anyway, enough about Hunter x Hunter. Moving on, we've got Fire Force Volume 34, which is of course the final volume of that popular shonen title from Kodansha. I've been really loving reading the series for the first time through the omnibus editions, and the 6th omnibus is out this month as well. I still haven't read my copy, but I do have it, and that's going to be the middle point of the series, because there, as far as omnis go, because there should be 12 total, matching what they did with Attack on Titan, with the last 2 likely to be 2-in-1 volumes. Anyway, moving on, another one from Kodansha that's ending is Lovesick Ellie with Volume 12. This is a romance series about a boring girl who has a lusty alternate persona online with a viral following. And we wrap up that first week with Najishiki from Drawn and Quarterly. This is a collection of Yoshiharu Tsuge stories and is labeled as the most critically acclaimed comic of the Japanese counterculture. I haven't picked up my own copy of that one yet, but I am looking forward to grabbing it. Now moving into the 10th, we got Kaiju number 8, Volume 8. I'm not mentioning this for any other reason than I think it's fun that it's the 8th volume of Kaiju number 8. I also thought that Ice Shield 21, Volume 21 was really fun when it came out years ago. I don't know, I'm a little immature. What are you going to say? Next up from Shonen Jump is My Hero Academia Vigilantes Volume 15, the final volume of this popular spin-off slash prequel series to the original My Hero series. I swear up and down that I saw an anime get announced at one point, and I don't know, I looked online and I didn't see anything else about the anime, so maybe it was just someone making stuff up at some point, but regardless, Vigilantes is over as of this month. Then we have a Viz original horror in Betwixt. This hardcover is a really interesting one. It does have artwork on the cover from Junji Ito, new original artwork, and it's got an intro from Ito as well, but it consists of 6 short stories, 3 of them from Japanese creators and 3 of them from US creators, and the book itself, it doesn't have a back cover, because you read it, you open it up from like you would a normal manga, to read it from right to left, and you read those 3 Japanese stories, and once you get to the middle, it says flip the book over, and then you open it from the other cover, and you go from left to right to read the US stories. So it's a really interesting book itself, the way it's put together, but it's also really good stories. I really recommend it if you just want a nice horror pick-me-up for the Halloween season. Betwixt is a really good hardcover to do that with. Then we've got Rosin Blood Volume 5, the end of this Shoujo Beat title. It's a supernatural reverse harem series. I haven't read it, so I can't say much more about it, but it's over, so if you want something with some vampires and supernatural romance, you can pick up that 5-volume series. Then we've got The Red Thread from Yen Press. This is a BL romance title about 2 young men who meet each other one day and immediately feel that this isn't the first time they've met each other. So perhaps a red string of fate has linked them together from their past lives. Then another, this one's from 7 Seas, the villainess who has been killed 108 times. She remembers everything. This one ended recently in Japan, I think. I don't know, probably like 4 or 5 volumes, depending on how long, I'm guessing, because I think it's like 22 chapters long. Anyway, after dying 108 times, Scarlet Ruby Noelle Hydrangea, quite a name, suddenly gains back her memories of her previous lives on her 109th loop, but she's stuck as an infant. If she wants to survive, she'll have to team up with former foes who have killed her before. Then we've got from Square Enix, this one's one that a lot of people are looking forward to, is Ice Guy and the Cool Girl. It's an office rom-com about a modern descendant of a snow spirit and his co-worker who is oblivious to his passionate feelings towards her. I know a lot of people are looking forward to that one. I'm going to check that one out myself as well. Then we've got Alpi the Soul Sender. Alpi is a soul sender joined by her familiar Perenai. Soul senders are responsible for sending divine spirits who turn evil once they die to the afterlife. And that one comes from Titan Manga, so they're broadening their publications this month with that one, and I think one more later in the month as well. Then from Tokyo Pop, we've got The Black Cat and Vampire, supernatural BL taking place at an all-boys college where suddenly one day a student is attacked and ends up with a bite mark on his neck like that of a vampire. Then we end the second week with Super Morningstar, which was delayed from last month. It was a BL title, I believe, about someone who works secretly on a Sentai title, and one of their fans finds out who they are. Anyway, I don't remember the entire synopsis for that. But moving on to the middle week, because this is a 5-week month, the 17th, we start off with a new physical webtoon series, God of High School, coming from Webtoon Unscrolled. Popular series finally available in print. Taekwondo expert Morijin joins a fighting tournament called the God of High School, which promises the winner any prize they want. Soon the fighters find that this competition is actually part of a much greater plot. Moving on, we get some stuff from Seven Seas, A Stepmother's Marchen. Shuri was a teenager when her husband died, leaving her to raise his children, even though they were old enough to be her siblings. Despite all she did to dedicate herself to them, her stepchildren rejected her as their mother. On her eldest stepson's wedding, she dies and wakes up on the day of her husband's funeral, so now she plans to live the past 7 years differently so that she can have a better life herself. Also from Seven Seas, Dungeon Friends Forever. Van is a dashing adventurer, but his childhood friend Ryuka is the big dragon boss of a dungeon, so every time Van wants to hang out with his old friend, he has to navigate a dungeon and defeat all of Ryuka's underlings. Will their friendship bud into romance? This one, I think the premise sounds interesting. However, the cover looks like one of those like American-made how to draw manga books. I don't mean to judge things by their cover, but it's hard not to with this one. I might give it a chance, though. If I do, I'll let y'all know what I think whenever I cover it in one of my hauls. Then we've got It Takes Two Tomorrow 2 from One Piece Books. I did actually get to read an early copy of this one, and I am enjoying it. It's a pretty wholesome, low-key rom-com series about a couple who's been dating for a little while, like for a year or so, and they decided to move in, and we're seeing their life after they've been living with each other for about a year. So they're not yet married, but they're pretty serious, you know? And it's this wholesome, cute little rom-com that deals with just everyday things that they get into, little spats and arguments about small things, and just what it is to be in a relationship as a young adult like that. I'm enjoying it. If you want a nice rom-com series, but you're tired of just all of the plethora of high school focused or middle school focused rom-coms out there, this is a good one that has young adults age like 25 and 28, I believe. Next up, a big one coming from Yen Press is Bocchi the Rock. This is the basis for the hit anime series finally coming to print in English. Hitori Goto is a young guitar player with crippling anxiety who wants to make friends, but she's afraid of approaching strangers, so she spends all her time learning how to play guitar, which leads her towards a moderate yet anonymous YouTube fame. And she's hoping that this will make her seem cool enough for someone else to approach her instead. And this plan does work out for her, as one day another student, Nijika, approaches her and asks her to fill in for her band's flaky guitarist, but is Hitori ready to perform live in front of people? The anime, I know, has gotten a lot of acclaim. One of my really good friends and co-host over on another channel, Gio, he loves the anime, has been really looking forward to the manga, so I'm definitely looking forward to trying it out myself. I know I believe it's a 4-Koma series, so if you enjoy or don't enjoy 4-Koma stuff, that might influence your choice on picking this one up or not. Also from Yen Press, the next few are from Yen Press actually, is Sasaki and Miyano Official Comic Anthology, a collection of short stories set in the world of the popular BL series. Then we have For the Kid I Saw in My Dreams Volume 11. I am pretty sure that this is the final volume of this mystery series from the same creator as Erased. I can't find much to corroborate that, because I've seen online that it might be 12 volumes long, but I haven't seen anything stating that very explicitly. So if I'm wrong, if this is not the final volume, I apologize. It might be the final volume, it might not. I just wanted to mention it. Next up, Tokyo Babylon Volume 1, Yen Press. This is a new printing of the classic Clamp series about Onmyoji twins Subaru and Hokuto, who, along with the veterinarian Seishiro, solve supernatural troubles in Tokyo. Subaru soon discovers that he has history with an Onmyoji assassin. For Clamp fans, this is really exciting. This is one that's been out of print for a little while, so it's very nice to see it collected once again, released once again by Yen Press in these nice editions. Then the final volume of From the Red Fog, Volume 5. It's a historical horror title, so if you want more horror for the month, there's another one for you. And then another final volume coming from Dark Horse is Blade of the Immortal hardcover Volume 10, the finale of the series, collecting volumes 29 through 31. This is the final volume of this deluxe hardcover line. We, of course, after this do have the 14th hardcover of Berserk coming out, as well as the Trigun hardcovers are starting up. We should actually be getting a look at the cover for Trigun pretty soon. I would not be surprised if it was announced either this week at New York Comic Con, or maybe they show it off next month at Anime NYC. Whatever the case is, I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens with Trigun, and I'm looking forward to being able to wrap up Blade of the Immortal in these gorgeous hardcovers. Then from Kodansha, we've got Tying the Knot with an Amagami Sister. This series follows Uryu, who hopes to get into a medical school. However, he finds that living at this new foster home, he's going to have a hard time focusing on his studies because he has to live with the 3 Amagami sisters. And not only that, but he has to marry one of them and take over their shrine. And then finally, wrapping up the third week, Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid in color double chromatic edition, so a second color collection of some of the best chapters of the manga. I've never read anything or seen anything for Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, but it's supposed to be like a greatest hits in color collection, so just giving you that information. Then moving into the 24th, we start off from Viz Media with another Junji Ito release, Mimi's Tales of Terror. So this is illustrated completely by Junji Ito, but the stories themselves are by Hirokatsu Kihara and Ichiro Nakayama, and they're based on Japanese urban legends. So they're based on true stories, you know. 9 different stories within this one, so any fan, any horror fan, any Junji Ito fan, you're gonna wanna grab this one. I'm really excited about this one, and it's one that before it was announced, I was really hoping we would see announced. Moving on, next from Viz Media is Fullmetal Alchemist, the 20th anniversary book. I don't know exactly what this includes. It's a celebration of the series for the 20th anniversary, and it collects all of the creator Hiromu Arakawa's companion manga that she drew to commemorate the series adaptation to other media. I'm sure that there's more in this than just those, but we'll see. I'll probably pick up the book and we can see what it's all about. Then we've got a box set from Viz Media this time, the Promised Neverland box set, collecting all 20 volumes of the series, as well as an exclusive booklet and a double-sided poster. So if you've been waiting on picking up Promised Neverland in the physical manga, the box set is a great way to do so. With a cover price of $179.99, that knocks off a good 10% from the cover price of buying each individual volume. And of course, you can get this for discounted prices at various retailers, so you're going to find it for less than $180 anyway. Then we've got another box set from Gallery Books, Pusheen the Cat Collection graphic novel box set, collecting I Am Pusheen the Cat, The Many Lives of Pusheen the Cat, and Pusheen the Cat's Guide to Everything. Not literally manga, but I thought I'd mention it anyway because it's Pusheen. Another box set, this time from Titan, is Afro Samurai. This contains both volumes of the Afro Samurai manga, the recent reprint, the size of which is much larger. It's comparable to Western comics like Marvel and DC books. It's about the same trim size as well as like the Dark Horse hardcovers like Blade of the Immortal and Berserk that we were talking about a minute ago. And it also includes 2 exclusive art cards, so there is some bonus stuff for you in that book. It is a $40 box set for 2 volumes because those volumes, like I said, are larger and they're really, really well put together. I'm glad that I got those even though I have the original 7 Seas version. Then we've got Higurashi When They Cry Go Volume 2. This is the final volume of this spin-off series from Higurashi. I believe there's also a Go anthology book that's coming out in the nearish future. And then there's more Higurashi that's been like announced and is coming out. There's always something with Higurashi. Honey Trap Shared House, coming from Yen Press, follows Hayato, who's one of the world's greatest spies, but one day he finds out that his first love is also a spy that works for a rival organization. Now the two must live together, torn between love and duty. This one I believe is rated mature, might be 18 plus, so just keep that in mind if you are looking to pick it up. I may be a guild receptionist, but I'll solo any boss to clock out on time. Also from Yen Press. This one follows Alina, a receptionist for the Adventurers Guild, who hates having to put in overtime when people get stuck clearing dungeons. So she decides the best way to get out of that overtime is to take matters into her own hands, go into the dungeons, and start beating the monsters herself. Then we've got Monthly in the Garden with My Landlord, also Yen Press. This one is a GL series about a woman who moves to a new home after a recent breakup, but her new home comes with a live-in landlord who seems like she's keeping some secrets. Then another Yen Press one, Minato's Laundromat. It's a BL about a guy named Akira who inherits a laundromat from his grandfather and decides to quit his corporate job to run it. However, he doesn't quite have the quiet life that he was hoping for when a high schooler named Shintaro comes into his life. Then we've got another Yen Press one, Cheerful Amnesia. This is from the same creator as I Don't Know Which Is Love, which I really enjoyed the first volume of. This is about Arisa, who lost her memories of the past 3 years, which has her girlfriend Mari worried she no longer loves her. But instead, once Arisa sees Mari, it's love at first sight all over again, and now Mari helps Arisa to experience everything with her for the first time again. Then from Eyes Press, we have Overgeared. This follows Youngwoo Shin, who's a deadbeat who works odd jobs to pay for his video game addiction, but in the VR game called Satisfy, he is Grid, the warrior, who finds the tome of a legendary blacksmith and is able to make himself god-tier items. So he's overgeared. He has too many god-tier items. Then we've got Seven Fates Chaco from Eyes Press. This is made in collaboration with BTS. It follows Zeha, who's woken up in a hospital after a mysterious and brutal attack he cannot remember from alien tiger creatures called Beom. And then we get from Tokyo Pop, Undead Finding Love in the Zombie Apocalypse, post-apocalyptic BL, with two childhood friends trying to survive a world filled with zombies, but also one friend confesses his love to the other. Then we move on to Sating the Wolf, also from Tokyo Pop. This is Omegaverse BL, set in a world divided between carnivores and herbivores, where an alpha rabbit and an omega wolf meet. And then one more from Tokyo Pop for this month is Love, Murder, Basketball, BL mystery about the son of an infamous Yakuza boss named Shoto, who meets the popular athlete named Goro. But Shoto is unaware that Goro is actually the Animosity serial killer. Then we move on to Kodansha, where we have Nina the Starry Bride. This is a much hyped release, a very much anticipated release. It's a josei fantasy romance about the orphan Nina, who's one day abducted due to her lapis lazuli eyes. But her captor, Prince Azure, has decided that she will live the life of a princess, taking the place of the deceased princess priestess who had the same eyes, but Nina doesn't want to give up her old life so easily. A lot of my friends are huge fans of this series. They've been reading it online before it got licensed and stuff. Really looking forward to this one, so I'm definitely going to give this one a shot, and I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it as well. Then we've got Ogami-san Can't Keep It In, also from Kodansha. This is about a girl named Ogami who's been going through puberty and can't help but to have perverted fantasies, which she keeps to herself. She keeps it away from her peers at school. That is until she meets Yaginuma. And when she touches him, she can't help but to blurt out all of her families, so she can't keep in her words about her sexual fantasies. She'd like to get to know him better, but she's afraid to let him know her true thoughts. Then we get Haruki Murakami's Manga Stories hardcover from Tuttle. This is the first of 3 volumes that are going to be collecting a total of 9 of Murakami's short stories adapted in manga. It's the first time that many of Haruki Murakami's short stories are available in graphic novel format in English. This one includes the stories Super Frog Saves Tokyo, Where I'm Likely to Find It, Birthday Girl, and The Seventh Man. Now we move into the final week of the month, and the final week has some really great stuff as well. First up, Mobile Suit Gundam Char's Counterattack, Beltachika's Children. This was delayed from last month, and it might actually come out this month because I know that Denpa posted on Twitter that they had gotten their office copies, and usually when they got their office copies, that means that it's not too long from retailers getting it. So it might be at the end of this month, it might come out next month, but it shouldn't be that much more of a delay, which is great because this one has been delayed quite a bit. Then from Udon, we get robotics notes. Childhood friends aim to save their school robotics club by building their own giant robot. Then from Ghost Ship, Inside the Tentacle Cave, which is about what you would expect it to be about. A demon called the Black Ooze absorbs the power of anything it touches, and so after touching a human male, it adopts ravenous sexual desire. Alrighty. Then from Seven Seas proper, we get My Cat is Such a Weirdo. It's a full-color love letter to cats, displaying all their antics with their owners. Very, like, big swing from like the Ghost Ship title to the Seven Seas title right there, from something very erotic to something very wholesome. Then next up we have another one from Webtoon Unscrolled, Noblesse, I don't know how to pronounce it, I'm sorry. After 820 years, Rai awakens to his new life as a student in a high school founded by his servant Frankenstein, where his new life is interrupted by attackers called Unions. And then we get one from Kodansha as well, Witch Hat Atelier Kitchen. It's a spin-off from the main Witch Hat Atelier series, where the teachers spend time in the kitchen exploring culinary experiments. Includes recipes for fans to recreate their dishes. That's always fun. Then from Dark Horse, we've got Tomahawk Angel. This was a tapas series, so it was like a webcomic type thing. The world has been ruined by a scientist who was guided by an artificial superintelligence that unleashed monsters onto Earth to preserve only a fraction of mankind. We follow an 18-year-old amnesiac who wakes up in this world in the year 2050. So that's Tomahawk Angel. Then we end the month on The Witch of Thistle Castle. This one's the other Titan manga one that I alluded to earlier. Follows the witch Marie Blackwood, who lives a quiet life, but suddenly the church pushes a 13-year-old named Theo onto her for safekeeping. Not only does she have to take care of this teenager, but now she has to protect the world and Theo from her own powers. So a lot of really cool stuff coming out throughout the month of October this year. A lot of good things just in time for Halloween, the horror books and the slightly spooky stuff and the vampire romance titles. There's some cool stuff coming out. A lot of things that I'm really looking forward to. A lot of things that I've been waiting to get for a long time. And I'm sure that I missed some final volumes in there, and I apologize for that, but there's a lot of great first volumes and a lot of great single volumes to mention this month anyway. So let me know in the comments down below, what books that I mentioned are you most looking forward to picking up and trying out throughout the month of October? And what else are you looking forward to in October? The stuff that I didn't mention in this video. Once again, if this is your first time here, thank you so much for joining. I hope this video was both entertaining but informative and helped you to make some informed decisions on some new manga that you might want to try out in the near future, because that's what I'm trying to do here, is help you to make those informed purchases. If it is your first time here, I hope that you'll consider hitting that subscribe button, that follow button, hit that bell so you know when I put out new videos. I do roughly 3 or 4 every month, so stay tuned for those. And for everyone who's returning, thank you for joining me once again. I appreciate every single one of you, and I appreciate the time that you spend watching me, and I love spending the time with y'all, even though it's virtual, And with that, again, thank you. Have a great day. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.